Hello, good evening, and welcome back. In this evening's video, we've got Tommy Robinson in Wigan, Noel Matthews being attacked by BuzzFeed and The Independent, including by Mark Di Stefano, that I'm sure you know the name of if you're following Sargon of Akkad, and then a bit about Microsoft AI and a bit of fun with the Chicago Cubs. So to begin with, his message to Wigan from Wigan Today, and a complimentary shout out to them that they actually seem to be a news outlet, at least from this article. Rachel Howarth, fair enough, you're not picking sides. They let him film his video here, 34 seconds long, and then quote his message. So they just put in text, it's a transcript. Good on you. His message is predominantly about Labour voting. So he says, the Labour Party rely on the fact that your parents voted Labour and your grandparents voted Labour. What have they done for you? They betrayed you. And the point he's getting at here is that it seems to be that voting for political parties is tribal, and it's more like following a football team than actually deciding for yourself. It's just, oh, well, I'm here and it's what my my ancestors have done, so I guess I'll keep doing it as well. So, well no, maybe change that. Maybe have Northerners stop voting Labour and Southerners stop voting Tory. You could. You don't have to do it because it's tradition. And if you want to shock the system, if you want to send them a message, then never forget, trust me, I'm your man. That's it. That is good old Tommy. And Tommy does even point at the camera when he says, and I think the Labour Party and the establishment and the media in general, even this media, need a shake-up. They didn't reply, as in the media, they just filmed it and they've published it. And then finally, in peaceful opposition to Mr. Robinson, members of Wigan Trades Council and Unite Against Fascism are in the town centre leafleting and speaking to members of the public. Haven't seen any reports of violent outbursts yet, so that's all good. Obviously, Sargon, or Carl Benjamin and Milo were in Truro, and somebody tried to attack them with a milkshake, but was taken away, and it didn't happen. So although that's trying to be a meme, and they've even dubbed Tommy Robinson Stephen Yacolt Lennon. That's quite good, but if you're encouraging violence, then I would disavow that, obviously. So yeah, shout out to Wigan Today and Rachel Howarth. Good on you, thank you. So moving on to support for Tommy Robinson from the Brexit Party, of all places. This is from The Independent, and they cite BuzzFeed, so we'll go to BuzzFeed because they refer to Alex Wickham, who is a senior political correspondent at BuzzFeed UK, and he posted... New, the Brexit Party's most senior election official says Tommy Robinson has been persecuted and Islamophobia is made up. He doesn't, but we'll get to that. Nigel Farage has distanced himself from his own election agent tonight, and it says, the same headline, Nigel Farage distanced himself from his party's national election agent after BuzzFeed News uncovered the posts. Uncovered the publicly tweeted, not hidden at all, totally uncovered already posts. Yep, okay. Brexit Party has distanced itself from its most senior election official after BuzzFeed News found he had defended Tommy Robinson repeatedly mocked the concept of Islamophobia. Right, mocked it, not saying it's made up, because what he does say, after saying this, Tommy Robinson drew attention to grooming gangs, Britain has persecuted him. Well, yes, they have. He seems to be more of a political prisoner than somebody who's actually done anything legally wrong. And Nigel Farage said that one of his main reasons for quitting UKIP and setting up the Brexit Party was his former party's fixation with Robinson and Islam, even though Nigel Farage himself has spoken negatively about Islam. And fair enough, stop trying to hide it. You seem to be making Brexit more of or the Brexit Party more of a elitist London bubble. Maybe you're trying to appeal to the suit and tie people instead of everyone. You're trying to make it more the party of elites and Tory light, even their colour is a lighter version of the Tory blue. Yes. So I would like to get to the... Oh, here we go. In a tweet last year, Matthews asked, is it Islamophobia or Islamophobia? I missed it when that word was made up. That's what he says. So he wrote, Islamophobia is a silly made-up word. That is not saying Islamophobia was made up. If you put Islamophobia in quotes, so you're quoting the word itself, then you could just about get away with it. But like this, no, you can't. No, you can't. Another 2018 post, he said Islamophobia is in fact criticism of special treatment for those with religious conviction. Fair enough. Yeah, he's completely correct. This is a country which has seriously condoned progressive religious practices under the watchful eye of so-called progressives who are ready to yell racist at any who dissent. He's obviously still of the more elite and well-spoken clique, and fair enough. I think it's important to have people who are saying the same thing but in different ways. Obviously, I would say a good example of that difference is Jocko Willink and Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, that they're both basically saying the same thing about ownership, extreme ownership, to use Jocko's words as an ex-Navy SEAL. But Dr. John B. Peterson comes from the world of mythos, academia, and mythology in general, whereas Jocko Willink comes from the Navy SEALs, of course. So 12 Rules for Life is much more dense and difficult to get through than extreme ownership, even though they do convey very similar messages. So they appeal to different types of people, but they're basically the same message from my reading. So good on you. It's good if he's saying the same thing as Tommy Robinson, but in a more eloquent manner, then that's going to appeal to different people who have a class problem with listening to somebody who's more crass, speaks their mind more bluntly, and comes from a working class background. Here we go. Despite his defence of Robinson and mockery of Islamophobia, Matthews has also criticised his former party UKIP for its own anti-Muslim rhetoric and its closeness to the far-right activist. Confronting Islam does not get enough votes to win, he has said. Yeah, I think it will. At some point, given that particular ethnic groups vote in a particular way, they are almost predictable. I'm not saying that there's a genetic reason, I'm just saying that is the result. You can decide your own cause and effect, but for example, blacks in America tend to vote Democrat. It's just the way things go. Or what's the term now? Is it African Americans? No, because they might not be from Africa. So people of colour, yeah, but that's not just black people. So by going this convoluted route, then you forget what you're trying to talk about. But maybe that's the point. You're just trying to catch people out and assume that they always know what they're saying and that they must understand exactly what you think when they're saying it. It's like the poor Radio 5 BBC gentleman who got fired for tweeting out the photo saying that, well, basically saying the new royal baby, who is so far away from being in line to the throne, but is still having a lot of media attention about it, is so overhyped. It's like just a monkey in a suit. But because it's a mixed, it's not quite a mixed race baby, is it? Because it's a baby from a white person and a mixed race person. So it's a mixed race person. I don't know. Because of that, it's now racist, and despite him apologising, he's still been fired, and that just shows that apologies mean nothing. But anyway, this is the point from Matthews, and it's been reported on by BuzzFeed News predominantly, so at least there's some support for Tommy Robinson, even in the Brexit Party, until he decides to disavow that as well, seeing as people seem to be doing that, and another UKIP member has stepped down, well, not quite. He said that if he got a seat in the European elections, then he would leave it to somebody else, even though he's fourth in line, so he probably won't get it, and that's because of the hysteria over Carl Benjamin. But that's the news. And then so final thing then from Matthews, that he did tweet about Donald Trump being right to say that there were bad people on both sides in Charlottesville. Trying to find out about because they say, Charlottesville, which resulted in a murder, and then you look up, okay, so Charlottesville murder, what is that? It's like, the Charlottesville car attack. Right, what happened there? So there was a gentleman in a car who seemed to be being shot at and trying to get away from people attacking him, and in the process of running away, instead of standing his ground and fighting his attackers, he ran somebody over, and now it's a murder, and he has been charged. He pled guilty to 29 or 30 federal charges in exchange for the prosecutors not seeking the death penalty. And his story is bloody horrific as well, as a gentleman, James Field, that he says his father died before he was born. Fields' father was killed in a car crash 5 months before he was born, and his mother's parents died in a murder-suicide when she was 16. So no wonder he had a difficult time growing up. But, obviously I'm not permitting murder. I'm just saying that it isn't as obvious as it seems, and trying to find out about it is bloody difficult, considering like the Google algorithm, for example. If you're searching with Google, maybe use DuckDuckGo instead, that they're going to put all the left-leaning sources first, so good luck actually finding the truth. It's very similar to Chinese censorship, which explains why Google were behind Dragonfly to help with Chinese censorship, and why they can't find out about the Tiananmen Square massacre, and why if you put, was it TS 1984, I think it was, which was Taylor Swift, and the year she was born, and she was trying to sell her merchandise in China, it's like, oh no, because TS could be Tiananmen Square, 1984 is when it happened, so no, we're going to ban those shirts, even though they got nothing related to it. So you put out something innocuous and innocent, but because of how somebody else understands it, now you can't have it. That seems to be what's going on here, with a lovely example of Chicago Cubs, the baseball team, banning a fan who was seen making a white power gesture behind a black reporter. Oh my god, what was this white power gesture? Do you mean that the white power gesture which needs two hands to make a W and a P? Do you mean, you mean the circle game that's played by teenagers? Alright. I mean, I still play this. I have an entire list and photos, and I have this with friends. We posted on a group chat to find when people do this just by accident, really, that their thumb and forefinger connect and their other three fingers are left out, and I might compile them into a lovely list to show why it is innocuous and isn't a far right white supremacy thing. Yeah, as you saw, that's Army Reserves application. I like my country, okay? I'd like to do my bit to make England great again. Mega sounds better than MAGA, doesn't it? But that's it for today. That is Tommy Robinson and Wigan actually being reported on objectively, not picking sides, so well done. Rachel Howarth, Miss Howarth, well done. And Noel Matthews actually giving some support out and seeming to be more objective than most, but siding with reason. And just the state of censorship. And the final thing then is Microsoft AI with Microsoft Word to offer to help by replacing bad words with the more progressive nomenclature, so that you're not offending anybody by accident. But anyway, that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, if I'm blowing things out of proportion, or if you think, oh no, actually, you got a point. Things aren't going well, but there is a bit of a pushback now, and people are starting to see it. And who knows? Tommy might actually have a shot at this. It's only 10 days to go. It's too late to register to vote, so make sure you have. But do sign up, follow him on Telegram, and I will see you guys in the next one.